Well, a very good evening. It's Thursday, the 9th of November 2023. I'm at the home address, but I'm not making a vlog. Well, I am. What's to follow is my day at Strageath Mills, and it was after the weekend of the flooding and lots of things happening in the Middle East. Most people will remember that weekend, and then the Monday was the 9th of October. So probably for the last three weeks or more, I've been turning it in my mind whether I should tell you about this, so just let it pass. But this was part of a sequence of videos I was making anyway about, well, for one thing, the historical aspects of Strathearn. The influence, of course, with the Romans, and the Romans were camped up at Strageath, and it formed part of the Gask Ridge running most of Strathearn from Comrie, Delgan Ross, all the way to Bertha. And what had happened was I was being at Ardagh on the 6th of October, I believe it was, Friday. I haven't loaded that, but this particular day here was pretty normal, a pretty standard type of chat for myself, and with some aspects of historical interest and bringing to attention maybe places that people are not aware of. The old graveyards here and the chapel of St Patrick's and stuff like that. But what happened was there's a point in the video where I mention and uncover the one of the gravestones with a Masonic inscription. I put my hand out like that, and that very moment, someone I know very well, his face appeared like that. And as quick as his face appeared, he disappeared. I didn't give it another moment's thought. We all have random thoughts of people and places and things and objects and everything that passes through our mind every single day. Tens of thousands of times, to be honest, but this, just at that moment. I didn't make any reference to it because it was of no significance at all. And I continued with my vlog. But after I departed from the area, the quickest route for me would have been back to the main road, A822, I think it is. No, it's between Crieff and Muthil, yes. Well, but the quickest route for me would have been to head, back, join the carriageway and move up to Crieff and take it from there. But what I decided to do was just continue eastwards that day. Span round at Kinkell Brig, that's right. I wanted to see the extent of the river at Kinkell, and then I drove round by Shearison. Anyone that knows the area will understand what I'm talking about, the back road from Octrober to Crieff. And I passed Shearison Farm and almost passed Innerpeffry. It was the passing of the Innerpeffry, and as I got to, I think it was at Woodburn Farm, I kept on getting this flashing thing. Well, what it was I pulled in just for a moment, and I kept on thinking, why is this so prominent in my mind? The very person that I'd seen his face for an instant his work colleague was suddenly in my mind. Not once, not twice, but almost constantly. And I drove off, and I thought to myself, well, this is absolutely true. I said, will I go into B&M and get biscuits, or will they just make do what I've got in the house? And I had this sort of internal debate as I was driving along, and for every moment I kept getting this person that I'd seen at the gravestone, a work colleague's face. I thought, it's very odd. From all the things that I have happening, I just thought it was something didn't quite add up why it kept on coming into my mind. Anyway, I won over with the argument regarding getting biscuits and going to B&M, so that's exactly what I did. And as I walked in and picked up the biscuits, I also spotted a bargain. It's nothing really to do with the story. And I gathered that under my arm and marched towards the checkout. And the first person I see is this chap, and he says, how are you doing, Annie? You all right? I says, yeah, I just grabbed myself a couple of bargains. And he says, did you hear about so-and-so? I says, yes, I did, about this and that. No. He died. I nearly fainted. I said, when? This afternoon. I just thought it was absolutely, beyond comprehension that just a little while earlier I just got his face at this Masonic stone carving. I've thought about, well, I should talk about it, or I can't really load this. This is why I've had an internal debate whether I should mention it or not mention it, but it's happened, so I may as well mention it. It's true. And of course I went to the funeral, but it was very odd. It was just, I don't know. I got the impression for myself that had I not gone into that store, I might not have found out as quickly. I don't know. Hey, boo-boo. Bits and bits. Nothing like a farmyard cat. Keeping watch. I'm at Strageath Mills, and I think I've covered this place before, but I can't remember. Well, at least I can't locate the footage. I'm parked up fairly awkwardly, I suppose, at the end of the drive, but I don't think there's any machinery at this part of the day. The interesting part about Strageath, it's an old graveyard here, and we'll come back to the graveyard shortly. It's actually been trimmed down since the last time I was here, so that's quite interesting to see that they've taken a lot of the foliage down. Looks like somebody's been in with trimmers, and the old chapels are across the way. But what's more interesting actually is the river. The River Erne flows past here at Strageath Mills. The purpose of being down here, of course, is I was out of Ardagh and Agricola on Friday. I haven't loaded anything about the Romans, and of course Strageath is a stronghold of the Romans. This is the River Erne. You can see it's in a bit of a foul mood with all that rain. We'll take it in a bit closer. Hey bubbles. Hello sir. What's all the noise about? Behave yourself. Just behave. We'll take you over into Strageath. Hiya. I think the farmer was wondering why I've been so obstinate with his dog, but I didn't see he was coming out the back door. But anyway, what am I mumbling about? Well, as usual, Andy, you're always mumbling about something. This is the dangerous part of the river, actually, Andy. Let's be very careful here, sir. You wouldn't want to cross the River Earl on a day like this. Of course, it would have been much higher over the weekend, but I wasn't taking my car out. Most of the roads were fairly impassable in my area. Asbpresentations. This is a man-made lake, which has only appeared over the weekend. This is not normal. I mean, there was a lot of rain. I didn't think it was worth noting it as an amber warning, but I suppose if you had sheep in here, yes, they would like to have known what was happening. You could probably hear the water. I passed the fishermen there. I can't believe anyone would be putting the rod into this water on a day like this. And this is the River Earl, and this is where it turns. It flows easterly direction from Crieff, in a sort of southeasterly direction. It turns sharply just along here, further along Patrick. But as it comes round here, it twists and it creates these rapids. And just on the other side of the trees was an old mill, Strageath Mill. And it's called the Mills of Strageath Farm. Very ancient. The Romans actually, further downstream, actually forded the River Earl. They were pretty good at what they did. They obviously had the scouts out, and they got the lowest part of the river just in a periphery, and they set up a road which runs the whole Gask line, the whole Gask ridge. Not all of it is visible nowadays, but some of it's still used actually, but a lot of it's just under fields. It's an amazing part of the river here, and I have taken you out here before, I'm absolutely sure. Not in spate conditions, I'm sure. But yes, it's the water levels round about the roads and some of I zipped up to the Newton Brig last night. It was a rather precarious journey. There's so much debris and silt and mud on the road, it was terrible. That's a fine picture of the River Earl there. Very deep water, I have to tell you, it's extremely deep water here. And I'm not sure if the river breached its banks or not. I don't think so. No, because that house would have probably been washed away otherwise. I'm quite nervous to have that house. I mean, it's a lovely location, of course, but I think it would be quite nerve-wracking every time it poured with rain. So we're looking along that way to Patrick, and in the periphery is much further to the southeast, of course. But look at the speed of the river there. Can you see? Absolutely fabulous. It really is. But very, very dangerous stuff. You just would not want to be caught out in it. No, definitely not. So we've actually got a fisherman who's just casting here just now. You may well see that where the grass is, how the water has come across the banks right after all. It's come up to here. So that's a fair amount of water that's come round the River Erne. It's come right over here. You can see on the gateway there, in the fence there, how the vegetation's been trapped against it, so it's been flowing right across here. It's pretty amazing. I mean, if you're snoozing on this bench, perhaps on Friday evening, Saturday, well, you'd get pretty wet right enough, but what I'm saying is you would be I mean, you'd be absolutely surrounded with water. You woke up. I don't think this chap's going to mind me doing a little film. I just want to step onto the sandbank. Don't want to startle him. Probably doesn't expect me to be behind him. Yes. Yes, it's receded quite a bit here, but you can certainly see it's been quite high, right across there. So that's dangerous water when it gets to this kind of height. Anyway, I was meant to be talking about the Romans, but all the way from Comrie out that way, Dalgenroth, the other side of Tulum, there's lots of Roman encampments, but the main bulk of the centurion Roman camps and signal stations were all across this part of Strageath Erne, all the way out to Bertha. Of course, the Romans named it Bertha. I think the old Pictish name was Perthia. Perthia. Now they've reduced it to the Hanoverian Perth. I don't think it became a city until 1815. I'm sure that's the roundabout date for Bertha becoming a city. In fact, no, it wasn't even recognised as a city until just recently. It wasn't until the 21st century that somebody decided, well, let's make it into a city. Yes, it wasn't recognised as a city. It was originally called St John's Town because of the church. Well, St John the Baptist, to be perfectly clear. Of course, most of the kings and queens were crowned at Scone, just on the other side of the Tay at Bertha. It's a terrible place, it really is, it's awful. I mean, it's got no bearing at all on the rest of Perthshire, to be honest. So the reason the Romans took up position down here is because they wanted to get through the high slopes and through the glens in the background there. Am I focused correctly for you? But up on my main climbing areas, it's up towards the small glen there, Dunmore. That was actually a Pictish fort. And up in the guts at the back there, the Buckentie, there's a large Roman contingency at Fendoch. And that was as far as they got. They couldn't get through the glens. They couldn't get through the small glen or anywhere through any of these mountains because it was all Pictish land. I'm going back to the 1st century. I'm going back to the period of Agricola. So it was just about 2,000 years ago, isn't it? Well, 1900 years maybe. The roar of the waters pleasing to the ear. You see this damn Himalayan balsam's made it to this part of the Erne as well. I mean, get that out. Yes. I think the water's receding just a bit, and even just the time you've come along here today. It looks like it. But it must have been absolutely ferocious. Perhaps yesterday at this time. I should have popped down actually, but I wasn't one to trust the roads and get my car all snaddled up in the puddle. But I'm going to do a little bit more about the Romans and stuff from Strageath. It's very interesting. It's pretty amazing they decided to come all the way from bloody Italy this far north to put their stamp on the map. What they thought of conditions like this? I mean, the river's never changed course that much. Not really. We'll zip round the other side of the old mill. But as I said previously, this is water that's all just arrived since the weekend. Fair amount of it too. Well, that's about as close as I can get to the rapids without falling in the damn place. But, it's certainly coming through at some rate, I'm sure you must agree. And then it will turn around and it will calm itself down as it flows southeastwards towards the River Tay. It joins the River Tay somewhere between Bridgevern and Newborough, in about that neck of the wood. So the Tay will be, well, it should be quite high. And but anyway, we'll leave this area and we'll go and look at the cemetery. Okay, so a lot of thistles and stuff in here, but you can see the gravestones. I have been here before. I think the place was covered in snowdrops when I was here, and then the next time I came down it was absolutely choked to bits with every nameable weed in Scotland. But this is a very ancient grave site, and the old chapel, I think it was on there. Not entirely sure if the chapel sat next to the graveyard or if it was within the vicinity, but and it's not that building there, even though it's the building's got windows in it. No, it's not at all any. It's an old farmsteading or something. But this is a very, very unique and pretty unknown graveyard. To be perfectly honest, I'm not even sure why they decided to have a farm next to the gravesite. It's a very ancient farm, right enough. I mean, these buildings are. Look at that rounded building at the end there. I mean, that's not something you build in the 20th century or the 19th century. So some of these gravestones are pretty old indeed, but I'm looking at this one, and that's 1910, the 27th of October 1910, aged 76 years of age, Mr. Arthur Drummond. Yep. Farmer's coming out with his dogs. He might be coming over to chase me off his land. I think he's alright, that chap. I'm sure I've met him before. Donald McLaren. Can't see everything on there because of the moss. Sacred to the memory of Donald. I mean, look at the stonemasonry on this. These are ancient Masonic symbols. Look at this. These are very important historical graves in every respect, not just because there's people below them. That one goes back to 1853. So, I mean, a lot of the gravestones, well, who knows, maybe they've been washed away. The water gets over to there. There's no reason why the water didn't come over here at some point. I mean, look how old, that's a round tree. Look at the size of the trunk on that round. That is absolutely amazing. That's... How old are you? How old are you? That is phenomenal. That's a round tree. Look at the size of the girth of the tree. That is so amazing. And the yew, that's a classic sign of a kirkyard burial spot. This is where you'll always find yew trees. So this is classic kirkyard graveyard site material. And looking at this must be the chapel, Annie. It must be the base of the chapel. And that's probably why the trees have grown up amongst the ruins of the chapel. But that is phenomenal. That looks like that tree's been here since the dawning of time. And if you ever see a round tree, they never ever get that large. What a wonderful sight. I'm going to touch that round tree. Yeah, it's amazing. I didn't see that the first time I was here. Probably because of all the weeds. I can hear the dogs coming to get me. Hi, Bobo. What a size of a tree you are, sir. Look at the size of this tree. That is massive. It has to be round, Andy. It can't... That's round. We'll check just in case I've made a mistake, but no, it looks like round to me. Yeah, it's definitely round. You can tell. I shouldn't be questioning myself in these matters, but I've never seen a round tree of this dimension or height. Well, maybe height, but not definitely not such large proportions. That's amazing. I'll take a leaf from you if you don't mind, sir, just to check in case there's any issues about it not being around. I'd like to know what kind of tree it is, just in case we're all open to error. I mean, these are sycamores, but these are really young sycamores. See, that's another round tree over there. Yeah, it's definitely around, Annie. These are large sycamores there, there, and there. And that's a round tree over there. Come on, let's go before the farmer gets fraught. Well, God bless everyone under my feet. I'm sorry if I'm tramping on anyone, but I can't help it. That's just, I mean, obviously this is ancient, this place. And look at that. I can't tell you anything on that except to say she died age 79. That's all I can see in this one. I wish I knew more. Perhaps in the parish records or something. I believe that all the parish records were actually burned locally back in the 17th century, or was it 18th century? Yes, they were. 1761, I think they all went in fire. Although it is my understanding that all the records from Scotland, apart from the ones that were set in fire, there's that pretty cat off. Ah well, you know what, speak to me, I'll speak to you. If you want any record, well, my understanding at least is all records were taken to the Vatican, and even records that we can't locate in our own country are apparently held in the Vatican. I'm not sure if that's correct. I know you from somewhere. I've met you before, pussycat. I don't know where, but you're a nice little thing. But we'll go back to the car, Andy. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye, boo boo. And anyway, I'm reliably informed that's the case. If there's any missing parish records, there is a chance that they'll still be available somewhere in the vaults of the Vatican. Don't ask me why, how they managed to get copies of the burnt editions. But I thoroughly enjoyed coming out. I always do. I come out here every so often for a little gaze, and I did want to see the river, but to say the river would have been much more dramatic yesterday, but obviously much more dangerous. You can see where I was standing. You didn't want to be mucking around with water and carry off. I'd end up in the bloody tea. Last thing I want to do is head past bloody Bertha, Bridge of Fern, or even bloody Newbury. No, definitely not. Well, Newbury's not bad. I used to run the Highland Games at Newbury. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Third Saturday in June it normally held. I don't think they hold the Highland Games there any longer. There's not the same number of people interested, you see. But it's a pleasant autumn day. I'm still rather suspicious about my office temperatures, but I'm trying not to let it annoy me. Okay, so I've come down to the opposite end of the river bank on the south side, and it's pretty amazing just how much I've obviously been here before, so I've seen the water levels much lower. But that's one of the burns that feeds into the Erne as well. Don't know the name, but look at all the debris that's been washed up on the other side of the bank there. The force of the water must be absolutely amazing. So yeah, we don't get those sort of rainstorms that often, but you know, it's all be good fun, eh? Anyway, that's the rapids from this side. I'm pretty confident now that we're going to get a pretty dry winter. A pretty dry, cold winter. But I don't think we'll When's the next moon any? 14th of October is the next new moon, so 5 days from that. I reckon from the 20th of October until about Christmas time we'll not see any large amounts of precipitation. I think it will always be frosty, cold, dry weather. Namely an anticyclone sitting on top of us for weeks on end. That's how I'm going to hedge my bets. And possibly after New Year, after the January 24th, we might get the big snowstorms if they come. But definitely I think we're going to have a very quiet November and December weather-wise. Calm, sunny, frosty mornings to view the spider's web on the washing line, that type of weather.